Hey everybody, it's Ted Padromo. It's Tuesdays with Ted. Thank you, Brian Kurtz, for giving me a name for my show. I realized I did 50 of these shows and I didn't have a name for my Tuesdays with Ted. But
Well,
today
does that mean it's limited to Tuesdays? Now, what happens on a Wednesday?
I do special editions
Oh, gotcha.
when
Okay.
people can't do Tuesdays.
Tuesday with Ted, Wednesday edition. I like it. All
You
right.
just make stuff up. We're marketers, right?
Exactly.
So I want to introduce you to Laura Belgrade. I met you in 2019 at Copy Chief Live, and everybody's saying, "Why are you LinkedIn guy? What are you doing at a Copy Chief Live?" I'm like, well, if you can learn to write good copy and good emails, it's a big leg up. So I met Laura, and she'd give a great presentation. I got on her email list, and that she came out with this really cool inbox hero. I actually printed it out for you, Laura.
Nice. That makes my heart so glad when I see my course printed out and bound with a spiral thingy. Amazing.
This is like a ½ inch thick. And then I got Launch Hero last year. I printed it out, cost me like a small fortune. This thing is like 2 inches thick.
Holy crap. I can only imagine. I don't even want to know how much it costs to print it out. I haven't printed out my own. If anyone wants to send me the gift. I can't afford it. No, I can't afford it because they sell aplenty. So you know what? I'm going to spring for it.
Yeah.
Be like,
I
yeah.
think it was like $60 at FedEx. You just upload the file. But I just
So
like to
worth it.
sit in the chair and read. Sometimes I don't want to be on the computer.
I agree. I think, yeah, probably focus is a lot better when you have it open in front of you like a book. Very nice.
It's a reference guide, like my book's
Yeah.
the reference guide.
Yeah.
So
So, okay. I didn't know if you were going to ask me a question or anything, but I love that. First of all, I love that you went to Copy Chief Live. It didn't even occur to me, oh, that you're not in copywriting, but I think everybody really is in copywriting. I'm not surprised when, to see anyone in any business at those events or anything learning copywriting. Because I've heard it said, and I don't know who came up with this originally, but that every business problem is a copywriting problem. It's all about the copy. And as you know, and I know, when it comes to copy, it's all about emails. I think I
yes.
think they're the most powerful tool we have to connect with our audience. And I think people are there are converts mostly now when it comes to email. Largely people understand that email marketing is important and powerful, but there were a couple of years there where we had to dispute the myth email is dead. Everyone was saying email is dead, and it has never been dead. And if anything's dead, it's social media and the algorithm and the idea of using that as your sole channel for reaching people and convincing them to buy from you, wouldn't you say?
Yes. Yeah. I
Yeah.
used to have a list of like 20,000 people, and I'd email like twice a year. Really boring emails.
Very effective, Ted. And then what converted you into a regular, prolific, powerful emailer that you are?
Well, I've been through John Carlton's copywriting. I've been through tons of copywriting and email courses, Dean Jackson's, but I never really embraced it till I got on your list, and it's like, this is really fun to read. And I was getting
I love
boring
that.
tech tips. Here's how you do this in LinkedIn. Click here, point here. Like,
Right. Well, because here's the thing, and I love that you open my emails, and that means I'm doing something right. Because you being in the marketing arena means that you're probably subscribed to a lot of marketers, people you named, people you haven't named. And so your inbox is crammed with marketing emails that you probably don't open. So it's a real feat to get someone to scroll through their inbox and open your emails. And I think of it like this, like that we go through our inbox the same way we go through our mail. If you actually still pick up your mail, some of us let it go for months. My husband's a bit of a stickler about it and likes to go and get it every day. So he keeps our inbox, our actual mailbox tidy. But most people take out, this thick stack of mail that's wedged into their mailbox and go through it over the garbage can, going like junk mail, junk mail, junk mail, junk mail. Something for me. Junk mail, junk mail, junk mail, junk mail. Something for me. And like probably for most of us, this is the only time of year, the holidays, when there actually is something personal for us. That's not an actual decoy. Some people send those that are in fake handwriting font and fool
Right.
you at first. It's like, yay, something for me. But anyway, it's such a thrill to get something that is personal and something for you, and that's the thing that you open. And it's the same thing when you send out emails, or when you go through your inbox and receive other people's emails. You're just like junk mail, junk mail, junk mail, junk mail. Ooh, something for me. And often that something for me is actually something that went to a list, but the writer behind it knows what they're doing and knows how to make it feel like what I call an EFAB, which stands for an email from a bestie. So my aim, and I think yours, unless you're just doing it subconsciously and a genius at it naturally, is when I write an email, is to make it feel like an email from a bestie, something from a friend to a friend, not from a business to a
Right.
business, or a business to a person, or to a mark, or to a buyer. It's from a person to a person.
Mhm.
So you want to tell me your tricks for doing that? Because I think you're doing it really well.
Well, yeah, because how many planning classes were you invited to this week in emails? Like,
Oh yeah.
everyone's like doing planning class. But what I learned from you, 750words.com. Write
Hmm.
every day. If you want to get better, and John Carlton stresses, if you want to get better at writing, write every day.
Yes.
So I just started
Yes.
writing every day. I do meditation in the morning, and then I just do free writing. Just I do it in my journal, just write as fast as I can, and whatever comes out, comes out. And then I usually think, oh, here's a good idea for an email today.
Oh, that's great. And so, because I signed up for your emails just recently, I should have signed up long ago, but our exchange recently inspired me to do it. I generally avoid signing up for anybody's anymore. And I think yours are coming out. I don't know if what I'm getting is a welcome sequence or emails that you are writing. No, they're not.
Nope.
Okay.
Every day I write
Um,
an email, like 4 or 5 days a week.
Fantastic. So I see you doing a lot of things that I like to do, which one of them is writing curiosity provoking, and but also casual, like they are from a friend, subject lines.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's really important. And you make the subject lines feel casual and intimate, partly by leaving off punctuation or not making them, in title case, which I think is a no-no for
Mhm.
a subject line. And you give them an intimate, a casual feel, and they have storytelling in them, that makes you open them. So for instance, you have, they kicked me off my own show, and there's no period at the end of it. It's just, unpunctuated, and there's a story there. I want to know what happened. And so of course I opened that one, and to find a shout out to me in there. So I'm so glad that I signed up. It was a shout out to Launch
I'm
Hero.
not gonna kick you off my show.
Thank you. Which closes today. And then I got one from you that says how not to win friends and influence people. And that is a great technique, is like taking a how to and making it a how not to. We all want to know what the mistake is in there. We want to know what the screw up is. And so we're going to click that open, also unpunctuated. And you continue that story. Part two, how not to influence and not how not to win friends and influence people. And what I loved in that sequence, in that series, and I think there's part three coming up possibly. Oh, there was. And then it was, this is how you give a shout out, was the third in the series. And what I love that you did in there is you combined a couple of things. You combined storytelling
Mhm.
and authority building. So you talked about something that you're an expert in, which is LinkedIn, and a screw up that someone made, and you were rightfully shaming them. You're like, I'm not afraid to name names. Here's a person who tagged everybody they know with no reason to tag them. It was not a shout out to them. It was just to leverage their networks, which I find so annoying.
Yeah.
Um, even if it's on a platform that isn't one where you can leverage the person's whole network and get seen by everyone who sees them. Just when people tag me to get my attention, like tag me in an Instagram post.
Yeah.
To me, it's like telling me that, first of all, it's a false alarm. It gets me excited and like, oh, somebody mentioned me. And then it's like, oh, no, they're not mentioning me at all. They're just trying to get my attention and get me to like it. And then I'm really not going to like it. And I remove my tag from the post. But anyway, so I love that you told that story and by telling it, by saying like, here's how someone is using LinkedIn all wrong. It shows that you know the right way to use it, shows you as an expert, but also tells an intriguing story
Right.
that sucks us in, that pulls us in. So you did that great. And then, you had a part two of how not to. And then the third one showed, okay, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
And each time I wanted to open that email and find out what you had to say. It felt like something for me, even though I knew it was because I was on your list.
Yeah.
And so that's the way you do it, is make it feel like it's from a friend to a friend, then use storytelling, tie it into a point, build your authority, show that you're an expert, give them something to take away. It doesn't have to be an actionable tip. It can be something that shifts their perspective or
Hmm.
makes them, and it makes people think of you, keeps you top of mind, right? The next time they're thinking like, who can teach me about LinkedIn? Oh, I know, Ted. I just got an email from him. Even if they're not going to hire you, if someone asks them who's really good at LinkedIn, who can help me? Ted, I just got his email today. It was great. So you build a connection, you build rapport, you establish yourself as an expert, you keep yourself top of mind, and that's how you use emails. And is
Yeah.
it that's been helping you sell your programs, right?
Oh gosh, I have so many speaking opportunities, and oh, it's been great.
Yeah, I
The next
love
step is to
hearing
be
that.
like you though, and only do courses. Don't do this working with clients. Send 3 emails a week and just kind of go on vacation.
Well, you can do that. I think that's what you're building, that kind of clout, and you have courses that you've created, right?
Oh yeah.
Like you're starting to do that. Or maybe you've been doing it for a while, but you have that scale, and now you're able to sell it through your emails.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you can do it. I mean,
Oh,
I
I've
know
been
you can
doing
do
it.
it.
Yeah, I'm working up to it now more and more. As we have our first grandchild now, and my wife just retired. So
Oh, that's
yeah.
so great. And you know what I also love, because you mentioned that stage in life. Your most recent email where you talked about, this is how you give a shout out on LinkedIn. This is how you do it. Mentioned that the person who did it is 60 or started when they were 60, I
Yeah.
think. And it's just a
Actually
great point.
70. She's in her 70s.
70. Oh, that's incredible. Okay, so I love that about emails. I love it about copywriting. I think there, there's a lot of ageism in every industry and every audience, and it's something that we have to fight. And email always works in your favor.
Mhm.
I think there's no ages. Emails have no age, unless you show your age by being crotchety, and maybe you want to work that by being crotchety and saying, I don't know who anybody is on the Grammys. That's me. I have no
Yeah,
idea.
exactly.
And you can show your age, but I think it's still not subject to the same discrimination. I think you can attract a broader age audience, and
Well, this is what I teach on
yeah.
LinkedIn too. Treat people like people. These messages we get on LinkedIn, it's like, are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, I get such bad DMs on LinkedIn. I don't know if you call them DMs there. Messages. Is that what you call them? Yes,
Somebody thought
direct
I was an
message.
insurance agent yesterday. They're like, "Hey, you want to grow your agency?" Like, I'm not an insurance agent. I've
Right.
never been an insurance agent.
My gosh, I like, do your homework. So if we can write an email to thousands of people, hundreds of people or thousands of people, that makes them feel like it's just to them, you can certainly personalize a direct message to somebody in a way that feels like it is just for them.
Yeah,
And you have the leverage there, like the advantage of being able to actually personalize it and do some homework. Like, I see you do this and this. I see from your recent post about this that you do this. I get such generic ones that people are like, hey, I see that you're a real high ticket closer. How would you like to?
Whenever someone graduates a new class, I get like 50 of those a day. Or do you need help with LinkedIn?
Right, exactly. No, I get a lot of those saying, "What would you say if I told you I can help you make your emails, sparkle, stand out, and sell?" I'm like, I would say, "No, thank you."
You're
Uh,
obviously not on my list.
right. What would you say if I told you I can do that for you? Because you're not, yeah,
What I
quite
like
doing it.
about what I learned from you too is I get people that replied on emails say, I can't wait for your next email.
Oh, see, that's the name of the game. If they can't wait for you, first of all, replies anytime are a good thing. That means you're winning. That means you're engaging them and they feel connected with you. And but then when the reply is, "I can't wait for your next email," even better.
Yeah.
That's like attention right now is so hard won more than ever.
Yeah.
For people to be anticipating an email from you like it's the finale of Succession is a
Right.
big is a big win. Yes.
Yep. And I told you I just did my first launch with Launch Hero a couple
Yay!
months ago.
And how did it go?
It was just kind of a stream of consciousness. My assistant's like, she's going, what are you writing about? Well, it's coming to me. So I'm creating a new course.
Oh, that's amazing.
I just wrote like
So
4 or 5 emails. I needed to update my LinkedIn course. And it just came to me. And I just kept writing these emails and people, I started a waiting list. And I kind of built a suspense over a couple months. And I said, gosh, no, I actually have to create the course.
that right exactly. So you knew it was a thing, like you pre-sold it basically.
Yeah.
You pre-sold it in those emails, which is a great way to go if you're like,
Only
"Oh,
through hinting, though. Wasn't any direct, hey, I'm signing up, no big launch. I just kept teasing people with more tips. And then they say, hey,
right."
when's the course start? So I started the early bird list. Then I asked for feedback because my other course turned into like 20 hours of boring videos. So I kind of got feedback says, instead of just learning, why don't we implement as we learn? So I did 20 minutes of teaching. We did 20 minutes of implementation and then 20 minutes of feedback for each call.
Oh, that's so great. I mean, you essentially did with your own modifications what's known as a seed launch. I think that's one of the things that Jeff Walker teaches. I
Yeah.
haven't done his course or read his book, but I know about it. Like, it's a great way to go if you think, um, I don't want to create a whole course. I don't want to put my resources, my time, my money, my energy, all my hopes and dreams into creating something that might not sell.
Yeah.
So hinting about it, seeing if people take the hint, then selling it once they say, "Oh, I want to do that," and then creating it is a
Yeah.
great way to go, especially if you need that fire under your butt to actually bring
Yeah.
it to life, right?
And if you're afraid of selling, because I sold it without actually selling anything, it was just writing emails.
Right. Were you ever afraid of selling?
Oh, yeah. Especially getting
Yeah.
people on the phone. I'm not a high ticket closer.
Me neither. Oh
Yeah.
God. I mean, I think that there are ways to do it. Um, let's say naturally and authentically and elegantly.
Yeah.
However, that's not my style. I don't want to get on the phone with anybody. I don't want to get on the phone for a chat except for like with my best friends,
Yeah.
but not to mention to close a deal, to sell somebody something. And so I love that I can use emails to do that job for me, but also it can be in a non-pushy way. You can do it using your stories and things you naturally observe, and being you. And once people have shown interest, it's so easy to close the sale,
Yeah.
right?
It's a great way to
And
differentiate because we all kind of blend in. There's almost 7 million coaches on LinkedIn now. There was 2 million a year and a half ago.
oh my gosh.
So how do you stand out from that? And it's just be yourself. That's what I learned from you too. Your emails just are fun. You and your husband and all your adventures. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think people always wonder, well, how do you do that? Like, how do you weave together your personal stories and your personal life and a call to action
Yeah.
or a sell. For you, like, do you find that just comes naturally, or do you use any techniques to do it?
I just be myself. I try to be other people and do all these things I learned in courses. Like, it's so fake.
Yeah, I agree. And it's such a joy when you're, I think, when you're writing, when your business, especially your business writing, is an expression of your natural personality and of your life, and is just a way of communicating and connecting with people, because that is really how you get paid to be you. To me, that's the holy grail of work, is when your work is an expression of your personality and you are getting paid to be yourself. I think
Right.
it's wonderful. And that's what one reason I love emails, because they allow you to do that. Just um, the format of them, the natural medium of them that traces back to letters, like mail that we actually sent.
Hmm.
It lends itself to intimacy, to writing about your life, to being conversational and telling stories. It feels like the right place to do it, and I think it comes out naturally.
You
So,
attract people that want to work with you, and they're like-minded people. They're the best clients.
ex right, exactly. This gives them a chance to discover for themselves that they are like-minded with you, that they connect with you. It's the best way to attract people who you would want to hang out with in real life. And I mean, because they read your emails and they feel like, oh, wow, if we met in real life, we would be best friends. I would want to hang out. I'd want to get coffee together. Um, and that's who they wanna learn from or buy from, is the person they know and feel connected with, know, like, and
Yeah.
trust,
Yeah.
right?
It's great.
Yeah,
So tell me more
yeah.
about the Launch Hero, how it came about. And
Okay, so first, there was the first one that you held up, which was Inbox Hero, and that came about from, like, I had a mini product called, and I still do, called 60-minute makeovers copywriting mini course, and that shows before and afters of websites, one, I think, one or two emails and different parts of the website, different kinds of copy, and it shows them visually. And people kept asking me, do you have an all email version of this? So I created an all email version of it. It was going to be a mini course, but it turned into kind of a mega course, because I collected all the emails I thought worked, all the emails I thought didn't work, and went through all of them, broke them down line by line to show what's working, what could be better, and why, and for all different industries. And it was such a hit. Like, people loved it, and it inspired, I think, a whole, I'm not going to say a generation, because that's really self-aggrandizing, but let's say a mini nation of people who loved writing emails and were writing them really effectively and being told what I get told and what I'm sure you get told, which is, yours are the only emails I ever open and read. And I love for other people to experience that, and that result from their emails. And then their emails were also selling. They're saying, hey, this really works. And it made them email more and more. And a lot of people ask, do you have a launch version of this? Like, I want to know a launch sequence. And also, uh, I happen to have proved myself pretty good at affiliate launches. I was launching other people's products, other people's programs, and started getting pretty good at it and rising up on the leaderboards. And sometimes I would find myself the number one on the leaderboard, like the top person for sales, even though I had the smallest list of all of them, all the
Mhm.
people competing with me. And so I was like, I got to break down how I do this. And then I had my own launch of Inbox Hero. And I'm like, I also have to break down how I did that so successfully, because it was for a low price product. At the time, it was $2.99
Yeah.
to a small list. And it made almost multiple six figures. It made like 170,000 in its first launch, and a quarter mil in the next launch. So it's like, I've got to break down this launch and how I did it. I call it a lazy launch, a six
Mhm.
figure lazy launch. So I broke it down. I also created a presentation, like behind the scenes of a six figure lazy launch. I call it that because like I didn't do videos, I didn't do webinars, I didn't do sales calls, I didn't do ads, none of those things that usually go into a launch.
Yeah.
All emails. And to me, like emails are work, but to me that feels like laziness in a great way. I feel
Yeah.
comfortable doing it. It's what I would do even if I didn't need to make a dime. So I break all those sequences down, like 2 winning affiliate sequences, my inbox hero sequence, like line by line, like I did inbox hero. I also
Mhm.
have the presentation. I also have something that's really popular that you might have used, which is the bare bones launch sequence framework. And that doesn't show you like line by line what you write. It says, okay, first you're going to, for this part of the launch, you are going to plant the seed. You're going to whip up interest and desire. And so here are a couple of stories you can do that with. And you'll send, here are the number of emails you should send. It might be like 2 to 10 or something like that. And then the next phase of the launch, here's what you're going to do. And this kind of email, and that kind of email. It's bare bones. And it gives you plenty of room to make it yours. So you're not influenced by anyone else's writing. There are no cookie cutter swipes because I don't think those work. You've tried
Yeah.
them,
They
and
don't
it
work.
doesn't. If they don't work, they don't feel like you, and it's embarrassing and cringy. So I put all of that into Launch Hero, and that too has been a big hit, and it closes today. So, oh, and I don't know if you saw this, but I added a really sweet bonus,
Oh,
which
yeah.
Ted, I will give you because you've been such an ally to Launch Hero and to me. So if you get the complete set, like you already have Inbox Hero and get Launch Hero, or if you get Launch Hero and add Inbox Hero at checkout, which you can do, you get a 7-pack, not even a 6-pack, a 7-pack of my email makeover jam recordings that I've done in the past. I'm sure you've been at 1 or 2 of those, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you see me make over shrimper submitted shrimp. I call my people shrimpers because talking shrimp. So shrimper submitted emails. I make them over on the spot, like on the fly while people are watching. And I've done it. I do a couple a year. And so you're getting like a whole box set of those usually 90-minute recordings. So it's
Wow.
like 40 plus makeovers in these recordings. And I think that's kind of a whopper of a bonus.
Great. That's awesome. And Tom
Yeah.
Ruich, who just has a question here. He's also awesome at writing emails.
Oh, great. Let's see
Yeah.
here. For a lot of the emails I write, I launch into the story, unsure what the payoff will be. Often I discover the lesson payoff only after I'm halfway through the story. Same here, Tom. Laura, do you start with the payoff in mind, or do you sometimes discover it along the way? 100%. I'm like you. I mean, sometimes I start with the payoff in mind, like, rarely when it's a story. Like when I have a story that I'm really eager to tell, something that, something from my past or something that happened just yesterday, I'm like, I got to write that.
Yep.
I will do it without knowing what on earth the payoff is going to be. How am I going to make this relevant to people? What's going to be the lesson at the end here, the takeaway? And I find it as I'm writing. For instance, like one that I'm really, that I love, it's like in my all time faves list, is what I call the Basil email. And it's about a time that my husband, told me to get basil at the supermarket and I totally forgot. I blanked on it. Or he says he did, actually. I'm not sure I'm not sure he did. But he was in the middle of making dinner and he said, "Where's the basil?" I'm like, what he's like, "I told you to get basil." I'm like, "I don't think so." But anyway, he's like, "It's fine. I mean, the pasta's not going to taste like summer, but I can do
Yeah,
it
I
without." I'm
remember
like,
that
"What?"
email. I remember you told that story. That's how
I was
stories
like,
work.
right? I was like, "What? It's not gonna taste like summer? I want it to taste like summer." He's like, "No, it's fine. It's fine. You didn't get the basil." I'm like, "I'm gonna go find basil." And I was like, "What about maybe our neighbors down the street?" And he's like, "You've never talked to them before. Never even had them over for drinks or said hello. You're gonna go ask them for basil?" I was like, "No, I guess not." And like, I put on my clogs and and he was like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "You gonna walk up and down the street like a hooker asking for basil?" And I'm like, "No, I'm gonna go find it at a we had one friend who finally said, "Yes, I have basil," and it was just a couple of blocks away. I didn't know what the point of the story was going to be when I started writing it,
Yeah.
and by the time I was halfway through, I knew, okay, this was the point of the story. This is what happens when you don't make connections with people, when you don't keep up relationships or even form them. You are at a lot, there's nobody that you can ask. And I think the subject line was how to ask for things. And so yes, talking to neighbors, what's that? Sarah, I don't know. I mean, I, it's like I can barely wave hi to them. I can't bring myself. I'm always like, oh, those neighbors, we should go over and introduce ourselves, and they're like, nah. So,
My wife and I are the old people in the neighborhood now. We're like, oh no, we're those people.
or the, I You know what? In our building, like our building was built in 1962. And so a lot of the people in here have been people who bought in 1962, lucky smart. And so it's a naturally aging community. And, most of when we moved in, everyone in the building was older than us. And now people with families have been moving in for years. And when I see somebody who's like under 50, I'm like, oh, good, young people. And my husband, Stephen, is like, I say other young people. And he's like, I got news for you. We're not the young people anymore.
Yeah.
But I digress. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's all to say that yes, I discovered the point somewhere, usually as I'm writing the story. And usually when I want to make a point and I start the email from that point, like it's a quick note or maybe a quick recommendation, I'll usually just put that down, like get right to the point, and then I end up building in a little bit of story around it. It
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily evolve into a whole story,
Right.
but it might be something that something that I'm watching that I recommend. Um, I'll say like, you got to watch this show, loving it, and then I'll tell a little bit about why, or why I've been watching it so much. I'm like, actually, I've been in a like period of anxiety and depression, and and this show has been my wake and bake, my version of wake and bake, and so you can build in a little bit of story.
Yeah.
Um,
A slice of life.
Sarah, the slice of life. Sarah's always the troublemaker. I should try this. Hey, sexy, have some basil. I so badly want your basil. Please put your basil in my spaghetti. Yes, Sarah, you should actually just walk up to cars, walk up to drivers who are stuck on, like, I'd say near the Holland Tunnel here. You do very well.
Right. Perfect. So how
Yeah.
do we get this? And you get Inbox Hero and Launch Hero with when you're checking out, right?
Yes. So Launch Hero, you can get, first of all, you can find all the info you need at talkingshrimp.com/launch hero. /launch dash hero. Can I type that into the chat? I don't know if I have access to
Sure, I
the,
can do that.
oh, great. Thank you. So talkingshrimp.com/launch dash hero.
Oop. You can't type when you're watching. There we go.
There we go. Thank you. That's the one. And then when you go to checkout, when you click buy now or get Launch Hero, you'll see the checkout page, and that gives you a little offer at the bottom to add on Inbox Hero and Story Hero, which are combined in one. And if you're wondering like what's the difference, well, I kind of explained it here on the show. Like, Inbox Hero will help most with your everyday emails. Will keep you prolific, give you all kinds of ideas for writing to your list, for welcoming subscribers when they come through your door. It's not a welcome sequence course. I might create that, but it'll give you a kickstart there and gives you all kinds of emails to write on an ongoing basis, broadcast emails. Launch Hero is specifically for launches. though you can also use it for selling something that's not a timed cart open and cart close,
Yeah.
or for writing anything to your list. But for anything that you sell, Launch Hero is the one, and I recommend them all together. I think it's a brilliant combo to have the whole set. And
I have the
yeah,
trifecta, the story
you
hero.
got the trifecta, the triptych, which I'm so glad. And Sarah's asking, is the content different from the first Launch Hero version? No, it's the same right now. Although some people got a bonus, which is like a new training that I'm going to do live for these for our early bird buyers, and I might end up putting it into Launch Hero. And if I do, you absolutely will get that upgrade. And that is, I think it's called 5 laws, or maybe it's 7 laws of launch emails. That's of lucrative launch emails. So
Awesome.
if I put that in, you will get it. And anytime I update the course, you will get the updated version, Sarah. So I'm so glad that you already own it. Nice
Thank you
going.
so much, Laura. This has been great catching up with
Thank
you.
you. Same here. Thank you so much for having me, Ted. Love it. And it's a joy to see your emails come through and know that you give me a little bit of credit for inspiring that style, because you're brilliant at it and total natural. So,
It's a muscle. You build it up. You just do it and you get better and you learn from good people and
yeah.
it's easy.
Yes. Yes. So,
Cool.
and you're a great person to learn from yourself. So I plan to keep following along.
I
Thank you
apply
so
this
much.
to my LinkedIn messaging and it works really well there too. Yeah, hey, we're
Oh,
communicating with human beings. What a concept.
yep, there you go. So Inbox Hero, Launch Hero, also good for your LinkedIn messaging and probably your posts.
Yeah,
So yeah, thanks,
cool.
Ted.
Well, thank you and have a great holiday and good
You
luck
too.
with the launch.
You too. And I'll see you in my inbox and yours.
Sounds
Excellent.
good.
All right. Bye, everyone.